Welcome to SAT Interviews yet again. Today, we are here at ACSIS, live at the event where we are speaking to a number of policymakers, delegates, business people, where we're trying to ascertain where we are going in as far as the relationship between Africa and the Caribbean. Today, fortunately, we are joined with Her Excellency, Rachér Croney, who will be telling us what her thoughts are around this particular important issue of collaboration between the Caribbean and Africa. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me and the opportunity to speak with you.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It is a pleasure. I think, summits like these are crucial. It's important, especially given the shared history between Africa and the Caribbean. And, the region's passion towards bridging the gap and the divides that have existed for so many years, when really and truly Africa should be a natural trading partner, should be a natural ally. And I think that there's definitely room to grow and strengthen that relationship. And I think this summit is one of the things, or one of the ways in which we can do that.
So having looked at Grenada in terms of trade, I know that agriculture, tourism, service industry are very big drivers.
Yeah.
What are the areas you think there is opportunity for collaboration between Africa?
Oh, I think there's opportunity in all those areas, really. You had the inaugural CARICOM Africa Summit in 2021. We had the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum in 2022 in Barbados. And, just leveraging those summits, what we realize is that there are opportunities and that there are so much similarities between the Caribbean region as well as the African region. So in terms of Grenada, there are definitely opportunities in terms of agriculture, in terms of agro-processing, in terms of tourism, in terms of energy and renewables. There's so much opportunities there. And in Grenada itself, we have such a really amazing investment regime that provides incentives for so many people to come in. And I think from the African region, we can definitely leverage more of the expertise from that region, particularly in agriculture. And how do we develop that sector? And not just one way, but mutual benefit for both Grenada and for African region, or the Caribbean and the African region.
Yeah, but it sort of sounds very aspirational. Are there any tangibles currently, or is it still at a sort of like a formative stage, where it's more trying to get policy, the bilateral aspects in place and so forth?
No, it's definitely tangible. Okay. At the moment, and some of this starts with diplomatic relations. I'm the High Commissioner for Grenada here in the UK. We do have diplomatic relations with several countries within the African region. One of our mandates is to increase the number of diplomatic relations we have with a lot of the African countries, which doesn't exist. So that's one of the things that we're doing. But there are tangibles, because there are bankable projects in each of those sectors that I mentioned. And there's no reason why investors from the African region cannot come in and take advantage of these opportunities. But the problem is, how do we make some of those investment opportunities and projects known? And how do we then connect some of these projects to investors within the African region? And this is the significance, I think, of summits like these. And maybe there is more to be done, whether it's from, our missions diplomatically, or our governments engaging more, our investment promotion agencies targeting all these regions. But this is also why we're here and what we do. But this is exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah, and I think some of the African businesses would probably share concern around the areas of tariffs and how we can engage from a tariff perspective. So perhaps they would want to engage directly, but in the absence of some sort of bilateral arrangements and frameworks per se. I know that there are areas that have economic free zones and so forth that African business can benefit from. Can you speak to those sort of like economic free zones, if there are any in Grenada, or that are being established?
So what I can speak to for Grenada, there are investment incentives across the board for any investor coming into the country. So whether that is from Africa, whether that is from Europe, the US, there are incentives for persons who wish to come into the country to invest. And the mission here in the UK, what we can do is connect some of those investors to our investment promotion agency, which is really a one-stop shop who holds your hands from the beginning right through to investment. So they can provide information about what some of those incentives are, and there are a long list of what those incentives can be. Now, in terms of creating that tariff-free trade zone, this is policies that are in place, and discussions are being had to make that, more applicable. However, again, with the countries that we do have diplomatic relations with, they do have access to come in and to invest and to work along with the countries. So we might not be where we want to be yet as a Caribbean and African region and creating that totally free zone which we can leverage. But there are definitely opportunities that do exist for persons to come in and take advantage of the opportunities there.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the opportunity. I suppose as a parting shot, given your experience, having heard the concerns that maybe Caribbean country businesses and equally African businesses have, what would be your parting shot in as far as driving the concept of collaboration between Africa and the Caribbean?
You know, I recently attended a trade and investment forum just 2 weeks ago, actually. And I think my message will be the same for this one. Right now, the Caribbean region is ripe for investment. And we are strategically located to connect investors to North America, to Central America, to Europe, and even now to the African region. So I would say that it is an opportune time for persons to explore investment in the Caribbean, and not just investment for the development of the region itself, but mutual development, because I think that there is much that can be derived from that investment both ways, in the Caribbean as well as in the African region. And I think, you know, this, like I said, this is a very good opportunity whereby we can bring persons together and we can talk about those opportunities and drive investment. And this is how we started, so it's a start.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned. Live here from ACSIS. Take care.